I told her I would get Just on camera, where do you think is it just going to be in seats or people?
I think people will probably. So most of the people that are going to be singing. Hi. I'm Debs.
Rich.
Most of the people are singing are going to come sort of in this middle bit here and over there.
Oh, so they're not getting up.
Yeah, they're just going to probably just stand up.
Okay, I'll put a camera back.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's just going to be
We haven't seen Francis yet.
Daughter Frances is attending with her husband. Frances says that she's now driving in to be
I'll tell her.
Yeah, the time is just She wants the Coke.
Yeah.
She wants the Coke.
I did it. Mama, can we take some hot?
Take a picture.
Auntie Alex, what's this? Auntie Alex. Alex, what's this? Ready?
Jumping. I should put my earphones.
Getting hot.
Yeah, do you want to take hats on? No, you don't take that off. Just have a quick stop running around.
Matthew. Matthew.
It also is going to say, too short.
She just flicked it, so must be already on.
Wait, who's that a card?
Are we good
Who's
to go?
mine? Who's my card? My card.
Yeah, that's all good.
Because you do have to talk quite
Right, into it.
to it.
Okay.
Mom.
All right.
Mom.
How's that?
Perfect.
So nice and close.
Yeah, perfect. Kia ora koutou. Ko Debs Peterson, Pilcher Tukawingoa. On behalf of Matthew, Holly, Katia, Shannon and Claudia, I'd like you to welcome you to Caroline's Farewell. We're going to open with karakia today. This is on Caroline's request, and it's one that we used to say at Te Korowai. And then we're going to be followed by He Honore Waiata, which the words are in your booklet. E tū whānau. Karakia timatanga. Tēnei te ara o rangi nui e tuaki nei. Tēnei te ara o papa tūnuku e takato nei. Tēnei te ara o tō papa e takato nei. Kia rau te tapawai o tāne ki raro. Tēnei te pō, nau mai te ao. Ka rangatia te ao e piri. Ka rangatia ko tāne e piri e tata. Whakamaua ki a tīna. Homi e hui e tā ki e. Thank you. We've come here today to honour the life of Caroline, a woman whose journey was so rich and diverse as the love she shared for those around her. She was born on the 31st of December 1962 in Prescott, Liverpool, to a young mother named Gail. Just 6 weeks old, she was adopted by Margaret and Bob Devlin, who lived on the other side of Merseyside and Wirral Their first home together was a small, charming house at 12 Lawns Avenue, a place filled with warmth and love of a family just beginning life together. Caroline often reminisces about the magical winters there, when the snow blanketed the yard and she could build snowmen. Those early Christmases with twinkling trees kindled her lifelong love of the holiday season. In December 1971, life took a significant turn when family embarked on a new adventure, immigrating to New Zealand. They left Southampton and arrived in Wellington in 1972, greeted by Frank Maltery, Caroline's mum and dad's best man, who lived in Auckland. Their early days in New Zealand were spent in a caravan at Frank's family home in Eastern Beach Road. It was quite an adjustment, and exploration was at hand. Caroline vividly remembers short walks to the beach, where she, as a fair-skinned pom, learned to navigate the sun and the sharp shells on the beach. The family soon moved to a rental property on Gosmar Drive, where Caroline attended Elm Park Primary School. It wasn't long before her father's new job allowed them to buy their first home in New Zealand at 10 Dalloway Place, Howick. Caroline then switched to Howick Primary School for the last few months of her primary school years, and then moving on to Howick Intermediate and then Pakuranga College. She then formed lasting friendships with Sonia, Fiona and Maria. Throughout her school years, they were by her side. After finishing school in 1979, Caroline started working at Commercial Union Insurance in the city. Every day she would catch a ride with her dad, joining the youthful department where everyone smoked, including Caroline. She smoked Camels back then, something she would laugh about later. The work was a mix of filing and microfiche, and for you young people, you won't know what microfiche is. A tedious task that often left her eyes strained. She managed to stick with it for 6 months before moving on to better administrative roles at the time. As she grew older, the desire to connect with her birth mother, Gail, grew stronger. In 1994, she embarked on a journey back to England to search for her, taking on multiple jobs to fund the trip before she went. Though she didn't find Gail on the first trip, she made valuable connections and enjoyed travelling through England, Scotland, Ireland and South Wales. Her determination paid off when in 1996 she finally met Gail. It was a joyful and emotional reunion that brought a sense of closure and completeness to Caroline's life. Remarkably, Gail and Bob, Caroline's adoptive father, got along so well that they even stayed together on visits when they went back to England, a testament of the warmth and openness that defined Caroline's relationships. In that same year, she met Royce and they married in March 1997. They built a beautiful home in Oraki Karako near Taupo, where they enjoyed a wonderful lifestyle with great neighbours. Caroline was working in accounting software implementation at the time, and life seemed to be falling into place. As friends around them started having children, she found herself ready to start a family, even though she hadn't initially planned it on that. At 35, she expected it might take some time, but to her surprise, she became pregnant almost immediately, with Matthew being born when she was 36 and Miss Holly when she was 39. She adored her 2 beautiful children and they became the centre of her world. Unfortunately, her marriage to Royce ended in 2003. Caroline navigated the challenges of single parenthood with grace and strength, all the while continuing her career in accounting and IT. It was during this time that she discovered Pauanui, a place that would become her sanctuary. She found an affordable rental for Christmas holidays, and the safe and welcoming environment quickly became a favourite for her and the kids. She often thought that one day, if she could afford it, she'd buy a place here. That dream came true, and Pauanui became the place of solace and joy, even when she faced a terrifying diagnosis of non-Hodgkin's multiple lymphoma. A type of blood cancer, she found strength in the peaceful environment of Pauanui. Thankfully, after 3 weeks of radiation, the cancer was cured, which was fabulous. This experience made her reflect deeply on life and prompted her decision to move permanently to Pauanui, with the full support of the children and Royce. They sold their home in Auckland and found a new one at 1 McCormick Place in Pauanui, near the surf club. Though the house needed a lot of work, she lovingly transformed it into a beautiful home for her family. Over time, she also purchased Post Plus in Pauanui and started a business that became a rewarding and fulfilling chapter in her life. Her career continued to thrive as she worked at Te Kurawai Haworo Hauraki, a place she described as wonderful, full of amazing people and deeply aligned with her values. She moved on to work for Hauraki Primary Health Organisation, another incredible experience she cherished. Throughout her life, she was surrounded by love, especially from her children, Matthew and Holly, and her beautiful little granddaughter, Cartier. She also shared a special bond with her nieces, Shannon and Claudia, whom she loved as her own daughters. Caroline lived a full life of resilience, love, and gratitude. She faced challenges head-on and created a warm, nurturing environment for everyone she loved. Though she is no longer with us, the memories she created, the life she shared, and the strength she showed will remain in our hearts forever. We are incredibly grateful to have been a part of her journey, and she will be deeply missed. This next bit's quite hard because this has been written by our friend, our family member, Caroline. It was hoped that she was going to video it, but it didn't happen that way. So I have the pleasure, thank you family, to read this speech that Caroline has written to share with you all. And it's called My 5 Cents Worth. So my nieces came up with the idea of writing something for this day, and I thought, yes, that's a good opportunity to have the last word. I have been blessed with 2 wonderful families, including my beautiful mokapuna, Cartier, amazing lifelong friends, fabulous workmates, and a really great Pauanui community, and 3 awesome fluff bucket Maine Coon cats. Ovarian cancer is a bit shit, to be honest. You can't do anything to prevent it. You're usually stage 3 or 4 by the time you're diagnosed, and the treatment is not what you call a walk in the park. But you almost always get enough time to put your affairs in order and knock off the bucket list. I reckon that puts it ahead of some other cancers. For those of you who like stats, I've had 100 blood tests. There are numerous CTs and MRI, ultrasounds, biopsies, x-rays, many ECGs, 6 operations, 32 cycles of chemotherapy, and so many ED admissions I lost count. I've stayed in Auckland City Hospital twice, Middlemore Hospital once, Waikato Hospital twice, Thames Hospital twice, and Braemar Hospital 4 times. The food review. Braemar, fantastic. Anywhere else, BYO. Anyway, I think I've given it a fair whack at fighting this disease, and all with the help of loving family, friends and workmates. Definitely couldn't have done it without you. You guys kept me alive. In the meantime, I kept working, partially because it made me feel normal, and partially I still wanted to contribute to society, and of course, to pay the damn mortgage. So this allowed me to tick off some really cool stuff from my bucket list, including travel to the UK twice to see family, including Poland to see my brother, Brisbane to see the Nutcracker Ballet at Christmas, and Melbourne to see Shannon and Claudia. I've reminisced around my old college with my schoolmates, stayed at the Chateau and at Raglan with great mates, done roadies of the North and South Island, visited Hobbiton, highly recommended, and generally had a really good time catching up and meeting great people. For those who are not aware, outside of my family, friends and work, I like Christmas, slight addiction, if you ever saw her house, Christmas time, harp music, my cats, and my Tesla Terry, who has now been named Thelma by Holly. Pretty simple stuff, really. So, things I've learned. Value your health, get annual checkups, advocate for yourself and loved ones, value your whānau and friends. They'll be the ones doing the housework and visiting you when you're crook and all sad sack. Don't wait until you're retired to do some fun. Value your integrity. Do the right thing. Show kindness and tolerance to others. Give hugs and bust out a smile on the daily. And finally, don't forget to always blow on the pie. That's very Caroline. I'd like to now hand over to Caroline's nieces to come up and do their pieces.
Sorry, just need a moment. Yep. Okay. Today, Claudia and I stand here to. Oh God. No, I can't.
Stand here to honour our beloved Caroline, a woman who was not just an aunt to us, but truly like a mother. She was the glue that held our family together, creating a home filled with love, laughter, and unforgettable memories. Caroline had a way of making every moment special, and Christmas was one of those times where her warmth and creativity truly shone. Her house was always a Christmas wonderland, with decorations that filled every corner. She even set up magical Christmas displays in the garage. These weren't just decorations, they were a reflection of the joy and love she poured into our lives. One of the most recent incredible experiences we shared as a family was our trip to Rarotonga. Caroline made it possible for us to all go be together in paradise, and we'll never forget the day we went kayaking out to a small island. It was a perfect day filled with adventure and the simple joy of being together.
Summer holidays were always a highlight because Caroline made them so. She would host us in Pauanui, inviting not just family, but all of our friends too. Those weeks were filled with laughter, late nights, and the warmth of being surrounded by people we love. Our family has always been open and close-knit, and Caroline was at the heart of that. We could talk to her about anything, and she was always there to listen and to share her wisdom. Caroline also had a love for adventure, whether it was hiking the pinnacles together, travelling all over the world, or speeding in her Tesla. She lived life to the fullest, and it was always a thrill to be along for the ride. Her passion for her work was something that always impressed us. Caroline was dedicated to doing a good job, and she was incredibly proud of everything she achieved. She showed us what it means to work hard and take pride in what you do, and her success was a testament to that.
Caroline also created traditions that brought us all closer together. Our weekly whānau kai nights in Pauanui was something we all look forward to. A time where all our friends and family gathered, shared a meal, and enjoyed each other's company. It was in those moments that the love and unity Caroline nurtured in our family truly shone. And of course there were her cuddles, warm, comforting, and filled with love. Her laugh was infectious, lighting up every room and every moment we shared.
Yeah, I do. Caroline, you were the heart of our family. You brought us together, made us feel loved, and created a home that was filled with warmth and happiness.
Matthew, Holly, Carty, and all of us were blessed to have you in our lives. Thank you for the memories, the love, the laughter, and the Christmas music, even if it annoyed us from time to time. We will miss you more than words can express, but we know your spirit will always be with us, guiding us and filling our hearts with the love you so generously shared. We will see you in the rainbows in the sky, think of you on your New Year's Eve birthday, and we'll always put up lots of Christmas decorations just for you. Okay, we have a second part that Holly has written. Okay. I'm not even sure what I could possibly say in the space of a couple of minutes to sum up what my mum meant to be, but here's the gist of it. Every time I had something to tell someone, it was Mum I FaceTimed first. Whenever I needed help, she was the one I ran to.
Even if I just felt like yapping on about nothing at all, she was always the one who listened.
Sorry.
I must admit, I was the biggest pain in her ass and most stressful child to deal with. But somehow she never gave up on me. I owe you my life, my happiness, and I don't know where I would be without you.
I'm forever grateful to have been blessed with 22 years of you. It's not as long as we hoped, but it's for sure better than 21. I will always admire your strength and positivity throughout this journey. I hope to be at least half the woman you were. Love you forever. Your Petal.
Thank you. Those were beautiful, beautiful. thank you whānau from Te Korowai and Hauraki Primary Health Organisation. This next part is for people to come up and share. It's an open mic session, we've called it. But I thought before I did, I would just share a little bit about how I get to be standing up here today. So I thought I'd just share how I met Caroline. In 2019, Caroline joined the management team, which is us old girls, at Te Korowai Hauora Hauraki. She fitted in well and we soon became friends, as well as colleagues. As we both lived on this side of the peninsula, we started carpooling. So Caroline called me CPB, and we called each other CPB right up until she passed. That stood for carpool buddy. I've not only known Caroline for 5 years, but it feels like I've known her such a long time more than that. Because when you share a car ride 5 days a week with somebody, which is 45 minutes one way, 45 minutes the next, you share a lot. In the first 6 months that Caroline was working with us, she was working triple time. She was not only finishing her Easy Buy job, she was doing the treasurer for the surf club. She was also managing Pauanui Post Plus. She was a trooper. Her work ethic was exemplary. In 2020, when she was diagnosed, it came as a massive shock to her family, friends, and us as colleagues. Her family and friends rallied around, and Claudia and Shannon came home to support Matthew and Holly and Caroline. Even though she was going through so much, she would never let her down days get her down for long. She continued to work right through, juggling chemo, specialist appointments, operations, and hospital stay. Over the years, our CPB car checks included laughter, tears, bucket lists, travel plans, operations, chemo dates, hospital appointments, whānau, what happened at whānau kai night. She didn't tell me everything. Miss Carty, the cats, the kids, Holly, Matthew, Shannon, Claudia. It was towards the end of 2021 that Caroline asked me if I would MC her farewell. I was taken a bit by surprise because we were in the car at the time. And of course I said yes. We didn't really talk about it much after that. And it wasn't until a month ago she asked me again if I was still okay to do it. Again, I said of course it would be my pleasure. Caroline's courage, determination during her cancer journey was an absolute inspiration to me. Her caring nature and for everyone is 1 in a million. In the last few times I saw her, she was still ticking things off her list, making sure everyone else was okay. I'm going to miss you, CPB. It's been a pleasure being your friend. Ka kite anō. Now I'm going to hand it over to my mates.
We're doing a little tag team thing here. It's something we've been doing for a long time and something that we do. So tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutako. Ko Sharon Kane tō ingoa.
I'll hold you.
She's going to hold me. Ko Pōkura tangata ki te Te Korowai Hauora o Hauraki. I feel extremely privileged to stand here today at Caroline's request, or kind of direction is probably a better way to describe it, and to speak on behalf of Te Korowai Hauora o Hauraki. But firstly, I would like to convey heartfelt condolences from Tammy Daha, our Manukura Hauora, CEO of Te Korowai Hauora o Hauraki. Unfortunately, Tammy isn't able to be here with us today in person. But please be assured that Caroline's whānau and friends have been uppermost in her thoughts, particularly in these last few weeks. Kataraina Wright and Janine Thompson, who is our Pōkura Hauora, are also very saddened that they can't be here today, but they are attending other tangi. Along with the other members, and some of us are here, of the senior leadership team at Te Korowai Hauora at the time, we met Caroline in mid-2019. It was on a Zoom hui. Nothing extraordinary about that. But this was before COVID had arrived on our shores, and interviews by Zoom were not commonplace or the norm for Te Korowai. We preferred kanohi ki te kanohi face to face. Caroline had seen the role for Paukura Pūtea, Business Support Services Manager, advertised just as she was heading to England to visit her whānau in England. But being on the other side of the world was not going to stop Caroline applying for and being interviewed for, as Caroline described it on many occasions, her dream job. So we had a very experienced, slightly pale chartered accountant who was working in Auckland in a very corporate environment, who had a home in Pauanui and a business she was running here, trying to convince us that her dream job was to become Paukura Pūtea for us, a not-for-profit organisation that is iwi-based, kaupapa Māori, and delivering health and disability and social services. At first glance, perhaps not the most obvious team fit. How was this going to work? Well, I can tell you, it worked beautifully. Caroline very quickly became a valued member of Te Korowai whānau, bringing her skills and her expertise to support the delivery of our services. Caroline loved to sing and was an active and enthusiastic participant at our karakia and our waiata. Caroline was not just a wonderful colleague, she became a wonderful friend. Besides, Caroline was a New Year's Eve baby, so she was going to have to be fun, right? COVID arrived in 2020, and for a provider in the health sector, they were tough and challenging times. It was a huge time of uncertainty, and we were often making it up as we went along, though I probably shouldn't tell you that. No script had been written for COVID. Our daily 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. hui kept our management team connected, supporting one another to meet whatever new challenge had come along or whatever changing alert was in place. Do you remember those alerts? It's almost a blur. Caroline was right there with us, using her skill set to ensure the numbers worked and that we had a robust IT system in place to support us. But there were even more challenging times ahead for our Caroline. But we were a tight team, and we were committed to walking alongside Caroline while she navigated her many treatments and, true to our name, wrapping our korowai of wellness around her. There were many trips to hospital, a chemo roster was drawn up so that Caroline was never there on her own. A lazy boy was sourced, I think, from someone's garage, and it was dragged up a very steep flight of wooden stairs to Caroline's office, complete with a hand-crocheted woolen blanket, so she could have a rest in her office on the day she felt a little bit poorly. Caroline needed to be at work. Being at work and continuing to add value to our organisation, that was integral in Caroline's wellness plan. In late 2021, Caroline's health challenges were such that she decided to step down from her role as Paukura Pūtea and transition to 3 days a week, completing various projects. Now, as I am the HR manager, and as I do have Caroline's full permission, I would like to share with you some of the comments that our then CEO, Rihanna Manuel, wrote on Caroline's assessment. How could Caroline improve? There are no areas of improvement that I can see at this stage. Caroline is dedicated to our kaupapa and always leans into our uncertainties. Is Caroline achieving goals that challenge? Caroline is engaged in the biggest challenge of her life. She shows courage under fire and has found ways to achieve her goals on the ground that moves around her. How does Caroline contribute to the team? No matter what life throws at Caroline, she rises to improve the lives of those around her. I am so grateful that what you have done for our kaupapa and look forward to the future. I think that pretty much says it all from your CEO, hey? Caroline, we have watched your journey living with cancer, as she described it, with absolute admiration. Your optimism, balanced by a generous dose of realism, your courage, and your determination to manage your journey on your terms has been completely inspiring, and I feel truly blessed to have known you. Yes, Caroline was very much the financial manager with a great financial brain, but I know that she used her superpower for good, because at the very heart of every financial decision Caroline made were our people and their well-being. He aha te mea nui o te ao. He tangata, he tangata, he tangata. What is the most important thing in the world? It is people. It is the people. It is the people. And that was our Caroline. In September 2023, Caroline moved to our whānau down the road, Te Puna Hauora Mātua o Hauraki, or as we call them, the PHO, where she continued to specialise in project work. We prefer to think that Caroline didn't leave Te Kurawai, we just extended our area of influence down the road to the PHO. So on that note, I will pass it ako to Taima Campbell.
Kia ora, Sharon, and thank you for the trip down memory lane. I've forgotten some of those details as well. Kia ora koutou katoa, nāku te whiwhi ki te kōrero ki a koutou I tēnei rā. Ko Taima Campbell talking wa. And once upon a time, I was also part of the Paukura team, the management team for Te Kurawai, and I guess part of the decision making really about bringing this woman that we interviewed on Zoom across. One of the things we also did as a management team, I don't know if you remember, but we used to use what we called Clifton Strengths, the Gallup kind of system. It's one of these things HR people do to kind of decide what your strengths might be and whether you're fit within the organisation. And so we all had undertaken some of that, and we all realised that amongst a few of us, we were very good at doing some of the relationship stuff. We were pretty good at kind of getting some stuff done, but when it came to some strategy and detail, the execution of stuff, not really. And so I just want to also acknowledge that Rihanna Manuel also sends her aroha today, because she was a big part of the decision making at that time, and we realised that we had a gap in our team where we needed someone that was good at getting stuff done. And so that was our Caroline. So I'll talk a little bit more about her, kind of some of her strengths. In particular, she had a really strong sense of responsibility. She would take on board the things that needed to be done, and she made a personal commitment to make sure that things were done. She had a drive for getting things done right. She built relationships based on trust. She wanted to deliver on the promises that she made. She was very conscientious about that and very ethical. What that kind of translated when she came across to the PHO was we had a bit of a list of many things that needed to be done. And Caroline was a big part of that. She supported our activity in terms of some of the work she'd done with Te Kurawai. So it wasn't, I don't know if it's about influence, I think we just got the benefit really of the work that she'd done previously. In part of her role, but also her IT experience. So she was able to kind of contribute to some big gaps for us in terms of what we needed to fix. So as an accountant, she had a really good eye for detail, but she also had some really good ideas about things that we could do differently. But part of her strength was also about making lists. And then making me sit down with the list that I'd given and asking me to prioritise things. And I guess for her it was really recognising the fact that she wanted to be able to deliver on things, and she wanted to be really clear what was the most important things. And I'm kind of the other way where I add more to people's lists, and my team will probably attest to that. She talked a little bit about coming to us was about living with cancer, not dying with cancer. And when we started off this journey 3 days a week, we knew that she had still treatment and other things to go ahead, but we sort of started off with a fixed term contract, and she said, so, you know, what have you got to lose? So, you know, we started off on that journey and we actually just extended her contract earlier on because for her it was really important to know that she had a place where she could come, where she was able to make a contribution and she fitted in really well with the team. So she did leave us some lists and she was still trying to pass over some of the lists, I think, really just really recently. But part of her decisions around priorities also was about how she prioritised her whānau, her moko, and the needs of others. And I guess the reason why we're here today and everything is really organised is because she wanted to make sure that there wasn't a burden on anybody else. And that was part of the way that she wanted to leave us and to kind of be able to celebrate her life rather than us, you know, I guess kind of doing something else. So that was kind of a good opportunity for us to do that. But it was also really around a testament by the looks of things to the relationship she's had, the legacy that she has left, and the opportunity, I guess, for us to celebrate her here today. So I just wanted to acknowledge everybody as well. The last but not least is the Christmas kind of decorations. So Caroline brought her, you know, her passion and, you know, sort of her interest in Christmas decorations from Te Korowai to the PHO. And I think we've got a cupboard full of Christmas decorations. And we had our Christmas celebration at the end of last year, as you do, which I have no idea how she managed to set up everything, but it was amazing. With flashing lights and all the bells and whistles that you could ever imagine. So, you know, if there's something that we can always remember, and I think, you know, opportune time for us is remembering her at Christmas and how much she brought joy to everything and insisted on us all wearing colourful things and having things that blink. So we were able to share some time with her. I know the decision she made was not easy, but again, that's part of her planning and responsibility. I think it was a little bit around having some ability to make some decisions while she could, and I guess we sort of wanted to support her with that. I wanted to acknowledge both the Te Korowai team, our team from Te Puna Hawara Matua o Hauraki. We all came together last week to celebrate and share with her and share the waiata that she was very passionate about. So she was a wonderful singer, and she was the one that had the higher voice amongst us all when the rest of us could not. And it really added to the harmony within our team. So I just wanted to acknowledge her contribution for that and the team for kind of sharing that time with her last week. Nō reira, he mihi kawana kia koutou katoa, he mihi anō kia koe, Caroline, I runga I tērā wā, and just want to sort of say thank you very much for the opportunity for us to share some of our stories today. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you. Thank you.
We're doing a waiata.
Piti, piti, oh.
Kia ora e te whānau. Now I'd like to open the floor to people that would like to come up here and share their stories or their memories of Caroline.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Lou Weems from Auckland via Melbourne through Greece. Thank you all for being here. Forgive me, I'm just going to say a few words. I wasn't going to at all, but when I saw how strong this podium was, I thought I could lean on it. I met Caroline about 42 years ago at school. We both decided that smoking in the corridor was okay.
Those camels.
She had camels, I had menthol. I could not deal with the camels. As we got talking, we realised not only were we in the same classes, but we actually lived in the same street. So we became firm friends, and we had a few adventures together. One of them included me teaching Caroline how to water ski, and her stance was incredibly elegant. It looked something like and she would wear her very thick glasses, which were tied with a string behind her head. But she did it. She got there, and I think we managed to get her on a single ski as well. So we had a lot of camping trips together, which we shared a lot of fun, a lot of alcohol, and a lot of cigarettes. Sorry, young ones, but there we go. One of the adventures that we had was when we were water skiing on the Iraqi Basin, and she and I had finished a ski and the guys were out there skiing and doing their thing, so we decided to have a lie down on the grass on our towels, and I looked around and there was a trailer and a wheel backing up over her face, like that, and then it backed off again. And she survived it, and so did her glasses, which was really quite remarkable, but she didn't panic. She was Caroline. And the lists, oh bless us with the lists. You have no idea what was on some of those lists, you really don't. There were all sorts of personal things that she ticked off that we probably shouldn't discuss in mixed company, but they were there. When she was interviewing for working with her current colleagues, I know that she was in Europe. I was getting the phone calls as well, by the way, and she definitely felt that she would be coming home. Coming to Pauanui and coming to work with all her colleagues. And I, for one, as a very lifelong friend and a friend that she will always be with me, whenever I see a snowflake, whenever I see a Christmas decoration, she will be with me. She really felt like she had come home, and I'm very grateful that she had all of you and that she's got all of you here. And for all the love and the kindness that you've shown her and the family that you gave her in Pauanui and in her work. Thank you.
Thank you, Lou. And someone that said she wasn't going to speak, you did marvellously. Can I fabulous. Francis.
Kia ora te whānau. I might need Lou up here as my podium soon. I'm just talking on behalf of my mum. So I'll get through this. So sometime over 35 years ago, while we were in our party hard 20s, as Auntie May put it nicely, I met Caroline through our mutual girlfriend, who I then accompanied and met up with Caroline again in Taupo and back in Auckland at different social events. While we weren't so close at the beginning, we shared a connection through being mums. At some stage, I was told that Caroline had undergone treatment for cancer, and that's my understanding is when Caroline discovered Pauanui, her happy place, and a place to get away from any stresses. Sorry, I keep losing my spot. Caroline's permanent move from fast-paced Auckland to the Kauai Rally Road meant a quieter life despite the commutes, which eventually, as most will know, led to ownership of Post Plus and a cultivation of Christmas decor into the Pauanui community. Caroline spent a lot of time trying to convince the rest of us Jaffers to move down. While we never quite got here in time for a permanent abode, I feel incredibly privileged to have spent more and more time with you over the last 3 years since getting our spot on Vista Paku. 4 years ago, I took a call from Caroline who told me her upsetting news. It was met with support, which is classic my mum, you can beat this. The Vista Paku purchase was intentional. A spot for us Jaffers to come and see you, Caroline, and anyone welcome, family or friends, or with the intent to have as much of your beauty in our lives as possible. A couple of years in, when Caroline's battle was confronted with more odds, she re-prepared her bucket list. Caroline wanted a travel buddy and needed someone to help when and if in any pain. I was luckily enough in a position that I was able to be this person, and I more than loved spending this time with her. I joined Caroline, Matthew, Holly and Carty on the trip to England. It was an honour, Caroline, to meet your birth mother Gail and some of your relatives in Liverpool. I'll never forget buying those scarce pies with you near Anfield Stadium and shopping with you for an LFC You'll Never Walk Alone tea. I'm so grateful I got to spend time with you arguing over who was going to be the driver, because we're both so great at it. My mum's a terrible driver. Travelling up to see my daughter's in-laws in North Nottinghamshire and going up to York for cake. I'm grateful for our trip to Scotland together, where we stayed with the Greenhills from Canada, venturing through the best UK National Trust castles and homes, and back down south going to Harry Potter World, where you wanted to take the kids. We were lucky to travel business class together on the way home. Once you've gone up, it's hard to go back. And Caroline went all out on her next trip back to the UK, travelling first class on a wondrous trip, and then trying to convince me to do the same there again. It wouldn't take much. Caroline and I also went on a trip to Napier, where we drove a vintage car and planned to go back to the Art Deco Festival. We visited Dunners and travelled on the Oamaru to Otatahi stretch of a recent South Island roadie. Other times included our trip to Taupo, Raglan, Fisheries yoga class and the chateau before closing. So while we weren't the closest of friends in those early years, I consider her a true close friend now. I always did my best to recognise the times you were in pain, Caroline, stubbornly hiding it and not wanting to make a burden of yourself. You are and never were a burden. I have to quickly note my thank you to Maringi for your assistance in getting medical help from Thames to Caroline just recently. I'm so glad that we got to share joy together in becoming grandparents, and now Carty and Sydney starting a bond, playing at your home and taking that call from you 4 years ago, enabled this friendship despite its very reason. Caroline is so very proud of you and your achievements on your Matthew, Shannon and Claudia, and loved you all very much. Sorry. Okay. You'll all achieve such high goals as Caroline achieved being a CA. Remember your old and wise aunties and my mother are here if you want us to be and need us. Today is only about you, Caroline, and remembering the life in you. We discussed the afterlife, and I know you've had the shock of your afterlife and that you were wrong, and your soul is in light, and you are with us right now. Caroline, shine your Christmas lights through rainbows as you wanted us to remember you, and rest your soul in sunlight until we meet again.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. You good?
We need to have a health and safety warning, don't we? Thank you so much, Francis, for sharing that on behalf of your mum, Kimberly. Would you like to come on?
Hi, for those that don't know, I'm Megan Upjohn. My husband's Norman, and we have been sort of in Pauanui for quite a few years. When we first met Carolyn was when she purchased the house at 1 McCormick Place. And we had no idea what sort of a Christmas we were going to be in for. It was just incredible. It was just, you didn't go to Christmas in the park, you just had it at the end of your road, and it was just amazing. Yes, it was her heart and soul. So we actually met Holly and Matthew at that stage, and our children were also involved in the surf club. And Matthew came along and joined the surf club, became a lifeguard like our two. And then, of course, what happens is we've been in the surf club for many years. Then Carolyn came along and was our accountant, our treasurer. She was an absolute wonder to have in the surf club. We were actually prancing through the gear shed, going through everything that was an asset, sorting it out, valuing it. Then it was the collections, and Matthew and Stuart and Jock were the security guards, doing all that stuff. So the one thing that Carolyn did, she really believed in community, and she was an absolute amazing treasurer. You couldn't have had anybody better than that. She was just phenomenal. And my son, who was a club captain, actually made a comment about the fact that she just took us from, just took us forward so far on Zero and all those sorts of things. And her systems that she still set up at that point are still in play within the surf club. So she's left a legacy. And that's Carolyn. She leaves a legacy, and she certainly leaves a memory with you at all times. The other thing is, it was her that actually mentioned about a business that was going in town, and that's how we ended up, Norm left ambulance and we ended up buying the business. And so that was phenomenal as well, because Norm had done so many decades in ambulance and came across and got into something else that was just a little bit different to what we'd done. But Carolyn was always a very valued friend and in the family, and she just got on with everybody, and it was just, we're going to all miss her, and the community is going to miss her greatly. So it's all right. And we're all with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for that lovely memory. Do we have anybody else that would like to share a memory? Or a story? Story.
Short story.
Hello, my name's Sandy. We had the privilege of living next to Caroline. I moved here from Waikato in 2017, and obviously got to see the beautiful decorations and shop at her lovely shop. We didn't have much in Pauanui, so it was amazing. So she has been a good friend. My new partner, Tony, and I, we used to have her over for dinner, used to have turnabout, have meals and things. And she never complained, she always came, and I'd say to her, "How are you?" She'd look at me and go, just to give a bit of a sigh and say, "All right," and she enjoyed the meal, we'd have a chat and catch up. I am going to miss you, Caroline. You were very supportive when my late husband passed away too, many years ago. You've been a rock. And I've been taking many children to your house and seeing these lovely decorations. It was a real privilege, and the kids' eyes would just light up with joy. Go well, friend. Tony and I had a final little chat with you, and when I see a rainbow, I always remember you. Go well. You're here in your spirit. Thank you for being a good friend.
Thanks, Sandy. It's a lovely memory to share too. Anyone else before we close with our karakia? Okay, so slight change to the program. We've got a beautiful photo montage along with music that is going to be playing after the farewell ceremony. We're going to close with a karakia, then Sharon is going to bless our kai. Darling Sharon over here, the kai. And then come back in here, grab your kai, your cup of tea, come back in here and sit down ready for the photo montage and music. Right. So if there's no further words to be said, I'd just like to thank on behalf of Matthew, Holly, Cartier, Shannon and Claudia and their whānau kai friends and the long-term school friends for you all being here today to share memories, and that the memories don't stop once this has happened. When you're having your cup of tea, I'm sure there's things that you would like to share about Caroline, and you just didn't want to get up and stand up and say anything in front of people, and I can understand that. I've had to practice for the last 2 days of reading out, so I didn't cry and blubber. I've been blubbering at home instead. So thank you so much. Caroline would have been, and as Frances said from her mum, yes, I believe she's looking down on us, and yes, she will be surprised that that's what happens. Anyway, we'll close with our karakia. Pōheri, pōrarama, te o roto, marama I roto. Tēnā te pō, ka te pauka eke, nā te pō o enei kōrero, ka mā te ariki, ka mā te tauira, kia puta, ki te whaiau, ki te ao marama, hui te ora, hui te marama, haumi e, hui e, tā aki e. Thank you, everybody. And Miss Sharon is going to bless our kai, which is going to be coming out any moment. Multitasking. Yeah, it's coming.
So today we give thanks for the kai that we're sharing, for the whānau we're sharing it with, and for the aroha that connects us. Āmeni.
Amen. And my colleagues and friends, while you do mingle to go out to get the kai, if we could please sing Caroline's favourite waiata just one more time, which we nickname the Hauraki Anthem.
Oh, good idea.
E
Thank you.
Can we just move this out the way now, maybe?
Sorry, I just
Lou, you were awesome. She would have been so proud of No, when I saw that, I thought, well, that's quite strong. I really was.
No, they did. That was really I'm not. I just really want to. Yeah, that's what I did.
And then just the montage ones, right? And then the music was meant to be attached, but
That's okay. Almost made it.
You so made it. Look,
So I've just got to get through speeches and then I can.
Then you, yeah. No, you did amazing. You guys, you and Shannon worked perfectly as a team. It was sort of wonderful where like Shannon kind of took over.
Oh, my word.
Now, you need food, you need drink, there you go. You're up, okay, cool.
You did well. You did really, really well. But showing emotions means that it's real. And just do what you want to do. Just do what you want. Sorry.
No, Tom.
Nice to see you. I know.
Yeah, cool.
I saw you over there, but then I thought, oh, didn't you say hello?
It was one of the, it's like you're meeting so many other people around.
Yeah, I know.
One of these sort of unfortunate situations. I'm Tom, by the way.
I'm Cass.
Nice to meet you.
Well, we did it. We made it. Yeah, I know. We did Caroline Brown.
You did it. You made it. Son.
Come on,
Yeah.
Alliance and James organisation. My queen.
Oh my god, pirate party. No, it was Caroline's friend, husband, next year. And he was ex-Navy. And he liked hearing
I wondered what the Christmas tree was about when I first played. Or after the photo.
He died, yeah.
Looking for your friends. Your friends are.
I never met Holly's friends. Well, yeah, I just don't know where.
Were they the friends you walked outside with earlier? I saw them outside.
So I didn't know how.
Okay.
really cool stuff. And I think while I was actually calculating, I was doing
because I haven't actually put my checks and balances and we've got balances in and 16 years and yeah, and the thing is that it's something that the
can't buy all goodies. Hey, hey, before you go, thank you so much.
But the thing is that all the family
oh no. I was thinking, oh no, I'm like, oh yeah, but such a even last week when we got the chance to be able to
That's too much. So that's the only other